Hi folks, today I'm reviewing the Flexcut Carvin Jack 2.0. We'll talk about pricing, what comes in the kit that you get when you order, the different tools within the jack, and then ultimately hopefully give you more information to see if this knife is right for you and if it earns its place within your kit. Full disclosure, I am not sponsored, and I bought this item with my very own, very hard-earned money. So speaking of money, let's dive right on in and talk about the price. So I got this kit last June for about $140. I recently saw it on the Flexcut website for about $199.95, so it definitely seems like the price has gone up. In comparison to some other versions of multi-blade tools, $200 is on the high end. I also found these a little cheaper than the Flexcut website in my local woodcraft shop's website for like $160, and then on Amazon and Walmart.com for the same amount. Specifically, Flexcut, on their website, they do have a couple of different options at a cheaper price point, but not necessarily with all the bells and whistles that come in this one has. They offer ones like the spoon carving jack for $154.95, the pocket jack 2.0 for $115.95. So if you're looking for something with a similar quality but just at a cheaper price point, and maybe you don't need all of the knives that come in this jack, those can be ones that you look into. For $22 on Amazon, you can get the old timer pocket knife, and I'll link it down below. Not an affiliate link or anything like that. It has very similar blades. It's supposed to be still high carbon steel, but you may have to work the blades a little bit more, maybe in terms of stropping. But for that price difference, maybe a little less quality, but at a way more affordable and accessible price point. Other than those, I don't really see a ton of multi-blade pocket knife styles for whittling that have all the tools that you might need or that I might need in one. So if there's ones though maybe that are out there that I'm missing, please comment that down below. I'd love to look into them. Or if you're looking for a comparison, Carving is Fun is a great YouTube page that I follow, in fact, and they do a great comparison between the different multi-blade knives. If you'd like me to do my version of that, feel free to reach out or put that in the comment section below too. All right, so just kind of getting into the actual kit. Like I said, I bought this in June, so I don't have the packaging it came in, but I can review what comes in the kit. You get the carving jack itself. It does come in a couple of different colors. I just opted for the standard here. You get a leather sheath with the strap, with a kind of a strap attachment here that you can attach to a belt loop. You get a custom strop. So there's a little small piece of rough leather on one side, and then each of these grooves is exactly fitted to a different blade on the knife. So like ones like the V-tool, the gouge, the spoon hook, things like that. So these all come in there. I really liked that this is special made for each blade in the tool, so I love that. You can see which tools I use the most, probably you can guess, but really great. And it comes with also the Flexcut signature yellow stropping compound. All right, so looking at the tool itself, it comes in a right-handed and a left-handed option. The difference is the way the tools are set up in the knife, but they have the same type of tools. It's just if you're going to carve toward yourself with a right hand or away from you, rather carving towards you with the left hand. So I'll open up the blades here. The knife has 6 blades, 3 on each side. They're very easy to open. They do lock in place, and they have these little kind of like hex bolts here where if you're really going through a tough carving session, if anything comes loose, I haven't really had to do that yet, but you can tighten here as well. kind of just finish opening everything up and show you the different blades that are listed here. We have a detail knife. That would be this one here. Great for getting into small spaces to provide detail, things like that. Or just kind of for use as just like a whittling knife. You have the pelican knife here that has this like curved shape. The pelican knife is great, listed as mainly to be used for removing larger amounts of wood, roughing out designs. This one's different from their version 1. So like I said, this is the 2.0. Version 1 came with a chisel blade, and so they swapped it out for this pelican knife in version 2.0. I honestly like having two potential carving blades. That suits my needs better than the chisel does. So I think it was a really smart swap. But if you prefer to have a chisel blade on yours, you might want to look into the version 1. We have a couple other blades here. One is the gouge scorp. It's this one. I actually use this when I'm making really small spoons because I don't have a hook knife that's like small enough to make a bowl for little teeny tiny spoons and scoops and things like that. So if my current hook knife is too big, I use this little tiny guy. It's really fun, really addicting to use. You might have already seen this on some of my videos, me popping out this little gouge scorp. I just love this thing. One potential drawback is it is meant to be a right-handed tool, right? So that's carving toward you. So sometimes the handle, like this part, depending on how wide the bowl is, can get in the way of what you're working on. But it'll work out really great in on the go and in a pinch. So really love that gouge scorp. We got 3 knives left here. One is, actually they included a hook knife. So if you're like me, where I mainly make spoons and scoops and things like that, they included that hook knife there. Really happy about that. If you only make spoons, you might want to look into their spoon carvin jack. And then they included 2 more things. So one is a straight gouge. You can see here. I use this one all the time for spoons on the go, especially smaller spoons like we were talking about. And then I also use it to do detailing work. So if I'm going to be making little ridges on things, I use that straight gouge for it because I don't have a palm gouge myself. And it does a pretty good job. It's razor sharp and easy to maintain that factory edge there. The last one is the V-Scorp. Let's try to get you to focus there. There we go, the V-Scorp. Great for creating texture, like feathering and things like that, cleaning up sharp angles, etc. So like I said, each blade, when you pull it out, locks when in place when in use. It has a really easy press to release, so you just push back here, and then that's what releases the blade, so you can fold it back in. They are made from 1095 high carbon steel. They are razor sharp when you get them. There's not a lot of work you need to do on these. I've just since last June, the custom strap to maintain the sharpness, and it's been great. The handle that I have here is made from aerospace aluminum, and it kind of has this textured surface to it, as you can see. Honestly, I wasn't a fan. I was concerned that the handle was going to be like too rough or uncomfortable because I'm used to using wooden handles, and I thought it was going to be really uncomfortable. But they did a good job, actually, over the last 8 months. I've used it for longer carving sessions, and I was surprised to find that it's actually very comfortable in the hand, really ergonomically designed, and the textured surface that I thought was going to be more uncomfortable, it actually does help, so the tool doesn't slip. So if you're someone with sweaty hands, this might be a good choice for you. Some pros, so when thinking about if it's worth it for you, some pros to this tool. I really like the custom strap that it comes with for the tools. I really like the versatility of the different blades that they included in the 2.0 version over the 1.0 version. And because this has multiple tools in one, I don't have to carry so many items if I want to whittle on the go. So it's a really great grab and go solution. I think the blades are good quality, like I said, really sharp out of the box, and because of the strap, easy to maintain the edge really well. There really isn't a multi-tool, in my opinion, that I know of this quality on the market that's like ready to go out of the box and that'll hopefully last for years to come. The biggest con, I would say, for this item is the price. So it's actually quite expensive, although physically it's a beginner-friendly item. So it's nice to just purchase one thing instead of multiple tools. It's nice that you don't have to worry about, like I said, multiple different tools with multiple different like sheaths and things like that for each tool. So it's a great space saver, especially if you're working in a small space like me. I live in a 670 square foot studio apartment. So, I don't have a ton of room and I have to be really mindful about the items that I bring into my world. So it could be really beginner friendly. It's very space efficient, but it is physically, it is quite expensive though. The other con is, like I talked about earlier, there is some limitation to the length of the tools. So if I were trying to carve like a bowl like this, for example, and I wanted to get over here, the handle does get in the way a little bit. It's not really meant to be used for large items like big bowls, big long ladles, stuff like that. It's really just meant to be like a carving on the go item. So if I had a bowl that's really much bigger than this, I might want to pivot to, even if I pivot to the hook knife here, it won't reach a bowl that's much larger than that because of this handle getting in the way there. You could use the gouge, the straight gouge. That could be something to consider, but you're removing a very small amount of wood. Focus. There we go. So it is not really meant to be used for large items. For me, I've had a ton of fun with this little thing, and I'm really happy to have it in my kit. I'm hoping it lasts me for years to come, but if something were to happen to it, I would very likely buy it again. I think it's worth the price, the quality, the versatility, and everything like that outweigh the cons in my book. So I hope that helps. If you're interested in looking at my travel whittling kit, feel free to, I'll link that video down below, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks.